Ndị be anyị ekene m unu. Asị m nke echikwanụ ya zalụ. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good night. It depends your time and your location. You are joining us today at Eastern News 24. I see Mechuko Kabiama be with you people. In the end, Biafra will emerge. Ise. Alright, I am up also. Yes, I got into the straight to the what we have with you today. Yabi Fine Boa is international body. You understand? Fane Kwe Basata Makana and the Kanu cells. And the reason why Nigeria should release him now unconditionally to avoid this to happen. Alright, I come across the audio clip. It's an international audio, international media. I come across it. I said, let me share it to Biafrans to tell Biafrans that the world is now speaking up, and any moment from now, it will explode. That is it. If Namazi Odogu PM 2 weeks, if Mazinan Kanu didn't release, now we have total lockdown na the southeast or the Biafra land. Alright, in conjunction with the international media, just listen to what they have to tell us and then leave us with your own comment on the comment below. Alright, over to you, sir.
Ruling. The Coalition of Southeast Youth Leaders have raised the alarm over the outbreak of tuberculosis in the facility where Nnamdi Kanu and other suspects are detained. They want him released immediately. Talk to us about the issues you feel are at stake here, Bikil.
I think it was Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, the special attorney, Aloy Ejimako, who relayed that piece of news after meeting Nnamdi Kanu sometime this week. His lawyer, as his lawyer, he has access to him. Can you hear me? Okay. It was Nnamdi Kanu's special attorney,
right,
Aloy Ejimako, who broke this ugly piece of news this week. He met with Nnamdi Kanu and as he usually does, he tries to get Nnamdi Kanu's views across to Nigerians. And Nnamdi Kanu told him that in the detention facility, tuberculosis as a disease had broken out, and some of the detainees were already affected. So immediately, Ejimako broke this news. People became worried. Now the Kanu supporters and even non-supporters became worried about his health. No one has confirmed whether indeed tuberculosis broke out in the DSS detention facility. But that piece of news came from Nnamdi Kanu's special attorney, who met him at the detention facility and conveyed his concern. So what they are saying is, look, allow Nnamdi Kanu to receive thorough Medicare, because Ejimako also said that he looked noticeable that he was suffering noticeable discomfort, malaise, and general ill health. So this piece of news is particularly disturbing because nothing must happen to Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu has to be given the best Medicare that is available, he must be granted access to his doctors, and he has to be allowed to eat what he wants to eat. And if he has indeed contracted tuberculosis as along with others who have contracted it, as we have been told, then he has to get the best. I mean, they have to give him the best treatment at this time, because we all know what is likely to happen if Nnamdi Kanu were to die in detention. God forbid. It is that fear that a lot of us have, that when we hear this kind of news, we are usually troubled. We believe that the issues have to be addressed quickly. It has to be taken good care of quickly, so that it does not contract the disease if he has not contracted it. And if he has contracted it, he has to be given the best treatment. Tuberculosis is terrible, it's life-threatening, especially if he doesn't get the right, if the patient doesn't get the right Medicare. It can actually compromise one's life. So youth who are saying, look, give this man the best Medicare, release him as the courts have ordered. I know that the government wants the case to go on. What I would like to see is for this case to be dispensed with as quick as we can, so that we can move on, because the detention of Nnamdi Kanu has torn the peace of the Southeast to shreds. There is a lot of killings going on, a lot of killings are going on in the Southeast, and most of it linked to elements who are fighting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Just yesterday or so, 5 policemen were killed in Imo State by unknown gunmen or unidentified gunmen. So we want this matter dispensed with quickly. If the government cannot prove the charges against him, then they should let him go, so that we can have peace, because this whole thing is heating up the polity. Every time I read about Nnamdi Kanu being ill in detention, my blood boils. I get really troubled, because I know what will result from Nnamdi Kanu's untimely death, and we do not want to see that. We want to see him go through out of court settlement, or what we call dialogue with conditions. I'll be happy to also see that happen.
Absolutely.
I've seen worse people than him in other countries of the world have their cases resolved through dialogue.
Yeah.
So nothing is new under the sun. I just want to see peace reign again in the Southeast,
Right.
so that the prosperity of the Southeast will not be abbreviated in any way.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see.
Right. Right, BK.
Right, BK.
Let me quickly take one or two comments here. I hope you can hear me, BK.
Yes,
Right.
clearly.
Right.
So,
Fabian Akezi says, how can MNK,
who is responsible for the murder of countless Igbos, expect to receive special and five-star treatment in detention? This is a man solely responsible for the crisis in the Southeast. Is saying that he should stay here. Well, one more comment. Let me try to take one more.
As problematic as it was, I've always argued that we should try to resolve the issue through dialogue. It is on record that on Journalists Hangout and on this program, I've asked that this matter be resolved through dialogue. Some of the people who are abusing me and thinking that I'm against the Southeast, they have a very short memory, and some of them actually don't read and they don't watch our programs. They are just rumor mongers. Otherwise, they will know that it is the peace and well-being of the Southeast that some of us want to see. I can't be happy that businesses are relocating from the Southeast to other parts of the country. You know, the Igbo man wants to open his container on Monday morning in Indonesia. Some of them would rather go and open it in Akwa Ibom. So let's have peace. There's no price that is too much to pay for peace. I spoke about those who have killed themselves repeatedly for 60 years plus in Colombia, deciding that, look, why don't we embrace peace? We've seen that happen. Most conflicts end up at the round table. So Kanu's matter can also be similarly resolved if Nigeria gets strong guarantees that it will cease to constitute a threat to the peace of our country. If Nigeria gets such guarantees, I will be happy to encourage the government to go into peace talks with him, as demanded by the late Amechi, Wazulike Amechi, the first Republic Minister of Transportation, and even former governor, SDF. They have said that they can speak with him and get firm guarantees that he will embrace the peace. But maybe it's the next administration that will do that, because I remember that Shwai Bola Ahmed Tinubu made the promise in the course of his campaign that he will speak with the groups that are fighting in the Southeast. We have to encourage him to seek other means of resolving this problem in the interest of the peace and well-being of our country and its innocent people living in the Southeast, where they get killed on Mondays and other days when they choose to go out to on their lawful business. So we don't want this to continue.
Absolutely.
Whatever sacrifice, whatever concessions can be made, has to be made in the interest of peace. I've been around long enough to know that war does not pay anybody. War is much more expensive than peace. So some of the people who are looking for war in our country, by the time war is brought to their door, they will know that.
Kabal, leave us with your own comment on the comment section below. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Always stay tuned at Eastern News 24. More news updates is coming.